Okay, we're continuing with the Holy Grail of Wisdom quotes by me, Pete Rogers, in alphabetical order, Dean Keith Simonton. Now, this guy, Simonton, he spent many years studying geniuses. And he wrote a couple books about geniuses that I think were pretty good. I spent a long time trying to study geniuses because I wanted to be a genius myself. And I found his stuff real helpful. So my favorite quote from him is, "A genius is someone who transforms their field." And I think that's a good quote because there's different ways to define a genius. Some people define a genius just by IQ. I think that's a bad way because that IQ testing, it's not that precise when you get in the higher numbers. And just because somebody does good on a test doesn't mean they ever say anything original, clever, or useful. Okay, so a genius is someone who transforms a field, changes it. And that's also a big statement because that's like a personality statement. The average high IQ doctor, they just want to make their money. They've got talent. They know how to get the job done, get it done quickly, efficiently, do it well. They get their money and they want to get the hell out of there, go home, be with their family, be with their hobby. Okay, and that's a normal, reasonable human thing. There's very few people who want to contribute to the field, add new information, put it all together, summarize it. Okay. I would also say one of the conclusions I'm kind of coming to after many years in the health, nutrition, medical business is people less than 50 hardly ever know anything, okay? Unless they had some psychological trauma, some drama when they were younger that gave them a problem, okay? Like Michelle Chen, she had, anorexia, okay? So that got her into the nutrition business. Chef AJ was fat, so that got her into the nutrition business. Some people get into the nutrition business because they had an autoimmune disease and get better, or they had cancer and they had to change their diet, like Ruth Heidrich, okay, or Dr. Day or something. Okay, that makes sense, but they're usually, unless they've had some major emotional, personal drama to pull them into it, they don't really start learning much till after 50. Once they've realized, they have to come to the conclusion that all the conventional stuff's a joke, it's bogus, it's not true. Then they start trying to relearn, to re-educate themselves. Okay, a couple more quotes by Simonton. "It may be that people who inherit a high degree of information processing capacity or native intelligence will have a tremendous need for intellectual and cultural stimulation. They will accordingly buy books, subscribe to magazines, visit museums, engage in diverse hobbies, and do whatever else they need to maintain a mentally active life." Pretty much and he says all eminent people, nearly all of them, are voracious readers because that's where all the information is. You have to read a lot. And I would even say it goes beyond that. You hardly ever can get anything useful from a magazine. A scientific journal can be useful because they're going to publish stuff that really specialized people want. Because when you're looking for the best information, it's always going to be something obscure, not available, readily available to the regular public, because the regular public doesn't read. The regular public is functionally illiterate. Okay, next quote, Dean Simonton. "Quality tends to be the consequence of quantity. When it comes to creativity, those who produce more masterworks will also produce more rubbish." So, I think you see that in somebody like, the guy with the vitamin C, okay, Linus Pauling. He had some magnificent ideas, but he also did a lot of stupid stuff. Okay, and I like this because I produce a lot of quantity. I think some of it's high quality, okay, I know a lot of it is. "Geniuses are those who have the intelligence, enthusiasm, and endurance to acquire the needed expertise in a broadly valued domain of achievement, and who then make contributions to that field that are considered by their peers to be both original and highly exemplary. The geniuses pay attention to things that others ignore." And what I would say I've seen most helpful is you have to read in a wide variety of fields. In your own field, like your board certification for clinical physician, internal medicine, whatever the field is, that's always going to be very narrow. It's never going to include nutrition, toxicology, dental, and all this other psychosocial stuff, sleep, stress, social support system, all this stuff. But you got to read in all these things if you want to be able to handle the big stuff and put stuff together. I found real helpful too all the reading I did in biochemistry, toxicology, organic chemistry, and stuff, so I could read through those articles. So anyways, I think that's how somebody gets really good, is that they're willing to read all around their field, not just their field, so they can make the connections. Because the PhDs usually can't connect anything hardly. They just know one narrow little area. Okay, next we're going to do Frank Sinatra, the great singer. And what he said is, "Don't respond to negativity with more negativity. Just put your head down and prove your critics wrong. The best revenge is massive success. Don't hide your scars. They make you who you are. Yeah, a lot of times that's what people can relate to when you tell them about your problems, because everybody's got problems. And how you overcome them, that's useful. When I sing, I'm honest. If you want to get an audience with you, there's only one way. You have to reach out to them with total honesty and humility. I get an audience personally involved in a song because I'm involved myself. Fear is the enemy of logic. Rock and roll is the most disgusting form of expression. It is the preferred music of delinquents, the delinquents of the earth. Okay, a friend is never an imposition. That's Frank Sinatra quotes. Okay, and we just got one by this guy, Upton Sinclair, and he's kind of a low-life scumbag, but he does have a good quote here. Upton Sinclair says, "It is difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends upon his not understanding it." All right, so that's quotes for today. Hope you found those helpful.